My name is Tom Devine. I am with AVPro Edge. I'm the Director of Marketing. And today we're going to be going over a new product that we just launched this week. So it is hit our distributors. It's available for shipping right now. And it is a really, really feature-rich, cool upgrade to our current EX70, the AC EX70 UHD kit. Is a point-to-point HDBaseT extender. And now with this edition, we are upgrading that product to include two huge features that most integrators have been asking for. This how AVPro Edge does its development process is we develop a product that we think integrators would like. We get all of the feedback from all integrators across the world. We take that feedback, we put it directly into the development of our products, and then we output updates for our products or new products that are going to fill those holes for integrators. And this is that type of product. So this is a point-to-point A to B HDBaseT extender. So it's just extending an HDMI signal, 40 meters 4K, 70 meters 1080p, and we'll get into all the good details here. But what really makes this special is now we have EDID control and audio return channel in a very low cost matrix or extender. So let's get into the slides here. Before we get too far into it, know that there is a questions tab. So if you guys check your GoToWebinar control panel, you will see a questions tab where you can type in any questions you have. That is how I knew I was muted, because I had my good friends Daniel and David let me know that they couldn't hear me. Hopefully you guys are hearing me now, guys, and I appreciate you reaching out and letting me know. But without further ado, let's actually talk about this product. So as I said, we have a point-to-point extender kit. This is going to be the same. If you have seen our EX70s, they are a very, very small form factor. So you have the chassis is just as wide as this RJ45 port, so that you're literally your category cable can fit in there, and we made it no wider than that. We want it to be able to fit slimly in a rack. If you have the transmitter, we want it to be able to fit behind any display completely discreetly, so you would never be able to see it there. And that carries on with this product. So I think you guys can see my cursor here, but we have, if you look, this is the product right here. From here to here, you have probably where we fit in exactly with the original EX70. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit wider than our normal EX70. But what we did is we actually put all the ports onto one side, and we'll look at that a little closer and talk about why that is a direct feedback from integrators that you guys were asking for. So this is HDBaseT technology. That's tried and true. It's field tested. This has been installed, tens of thousands of times throughout all sorts of installs. They're running rock solid, and you have that AVPro warranty. It is a 10.2 gigabit per second extender. So you have it's going to do 4K 30 at 444. If you want to go 4K 60, you can. You just got to bump that color space down to 420. But remember, this isn't one of our AVPro Edge's 444 line. It does not do 18 gigabits per second. That is a price bump up to the next level of extender that's going to give you that room, where this one is going to give you that same bandwidth that you get from our normal EX70 with just these added features. So with it, it has bidirectional signals, right? Because we have the audio return channel going the opposite direction from the Core AV HDMI signal. Now, as we look into this a little bit closer, we can see at the very top, this is what just the front is going to look like. You have the big HDBaseT logo, and then you have your status monitors. And what those are going to show you is down here, it's going to show you is power active? Do we have our HDBaseT link active? Do we have a signal actively coming through there? Is the link active? And is our HDMI connection active? Dan Lieberman says, is this eARC or ARC? It is both. This is able to send eARC and ARC down the channel. So it can handle both types of signals. A audio return channel is built on the CEC commands, and the ARC is now built on the new HDMI 2.1 protocols. But no matter what kind of audio return channel your TV is sending out, whether it be the new one with ARC or whether it be one that's, some of the ones that are manufactured now are still sending traditional ARC, or whether it be from, last year's model or any year previous sending out audio return channel, it will still work with those. So yes, both flavors of ARC, which is the enhanced audio return channel, the new version, and the original audio return channel. Great question, Dan. I appreciate that. And so we have on the back, we have all of our ports on one side. So the reason that we did that is we heard feedback from a lot of our integrators, our EX70s there's ports on the top and there's ports on the bottom. So what would happen is people would put those into a rack and they would line them up in our squid rack side by side. And so you could have all the transmitters nice and lined up. But what would happen is you have cables going back into the rack and you'd have cables going front that they'd have to run back into the rack. Well, we wanted to make sure that your installs were as clean as you could possibly get them. So what we have done was we changed it and we took all the ports, the power, the IR, the HDMI, the CAT port, the control, everything is now on one side. So if you rack mount those into a rack system and you have all your transmitters lined up, now all the cables can go out the back and you have this really, really nice clean install. As you can see on the back, you have a transmitter. This is where we have some dip switches and a little table here, and we'll get into that a little bit further when we get into EDID management. So that's the close look up at this, but it is a very small form factor. It is a very slim extender, as you guys can see here. So some of the features of this is it is able to handle that HDMI 2.0, all the signals under there. We can do 4K 60 at 420, 4K 30 at 444. That's just to keep it under that 10.2 gigabit per second bandwidth level that it maxes out at. We have HDR support up to 422. We got HDCP handling 2.2 and any of the other formats, 2.0, 1.4. Mentioned the lengths earlier. Comes with EDID management. You have IR pass-through. This is a good thing to mention, though. We do have IR pass-through, which, if you guys are familiar, what we like to do for our integrators is we like to allow you to send the IR signal one way or send it back the other way, because sometimes you may want to control a source in the rack, and you also want, or some integrators just like to have their control system power down the TV or send TV commands that way. Well, we can route your IR signal however the integrator wants. But what we've always done for our Control 4 integrators is we have the iPass, so you don't have to meet an emitter and an eye together. You can just have one cable with a little 3.5 millimeter jack on the end of it, and you're able to put that right into your control system. And then you don't have to have any flashing. It goes directly into your control system. Your control system sends the IR commands directly through that cable. And if you see here, right on our extender, we have the iPass that we have in between the IR in and the IR out. Well, we used to only have those on one side so that it would fit for our Control 4 integrators. But as we've talked to more integrators doing controls different way, we have found that a lot of times they want that iPass on the other side. So now we have included the iPass feature on both the transmitter and the receiver side, which is really, really cool and is going to give all of our integrators a little bit more capabilities when routing those signals. Okay, so now let's talk about audio return channel. I mean, this is the big reason that you have this. And how does the audio return channel work, right? So you have a TV in the living room and it is playing a Netflix signal, right? And you have really good speakers set up to this TV. Well, now when you're watching an internal app on a television through Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, the Peacock, I mean, it's like by the next time I do my next webinar, there'll be 15 more of those streaming services. And the sync, which is usually the endpoint of our signal for video distribution, as we know, becomes our source. So how do we get that source back into our AVR or into our rack-mounted, audio distribution system, or back into our, high functioning, you're listening to Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision movie on Netflix, and you want Dolby Atmos sound, how are you going to be able to do that? Well, you can do that with the audio return channel over the HDMI signal. So we have we'll take right here, we have this HDMI source going into this extender, and it would be an HDMI cable right here, and the signal is going from this source into this transmitter. Well, the same thing's happening here. We have an HDMI cable going from this receiver into this display, so that anything that's played on this source, we can now have it in our display. But what we are able to do is not always play the source. Maybe you're not watching DirecTV, maybe you're not playing Xbox, or whatever, you have the Kaleidoscape hooked up, you want to go use an internal app. You do that. What can happen is now there's no video signal being routed this way at all. But what we will want is the audio return channel to come out of this display, go bidirectionally through the HDMI cable back into this transmitter, or excuse me, this receiver that acts as an ARC transmitter. It sends that ARC signal over the category cable, and it can actually send the same signal at the same time it's receiving a signal. It can send bidirectional signals by using the different channels inside that category cable. Then after it comes out of the category cable, we have a little de-embedded audio port on the receiver that you can connect directly to a rack-mounted AVR, and that rack-mounted AVR is connected to all the speakers in that system that are in wall and looking so nice in a sleek setup. But now you're watching an internal app, routing that signal, or watching an internal app show or movie. That movie signal is getting routed to the AVR, so you're still able to amplify that audio and give your customer the audio he deserves with his nice AVR that he paid for and all those nice speakers he paid for, but he's watching the internal apps on his TV now. How do you manage that? And it's audio return channel. This is how you do it. And remember, the difference with ARC or eARC is also they still work the same. It functionally sends a audio signal out of your television back through the HDMI cable. Usually when you look at your TV, there's a little port that says, this is the ARC port. Know that they're still sending it functionally, just eARC's going to be able to send higher bandwidth, or higher quality and higher bandwidth audio signals than ARC is. And we have had problems as an integrator, maybe you have run into ARC runs on CEC commands, and there's different things that can happen that make it unreliable, where eARC is going to fix all of those problems that ARC was bringing. So, but no matter what your display is handling, this extender is able to pass that signal. Now this kind of just takes that diagram we talked about and puts it into a real world scenario, right? You have this nice living room, you have the speaker set up, you have the the receiver hidden behind the display, and now anything we play on this display will be able to route the audio through this AVR and into the speakers. So this is all done through the power of HDBaseT. HDBaseT is an alliance and a standard for video signals, and what it does is it takes the normal way of using category cable by changing it into IP packets and then packetizing the signal into code, sending it over the category cable, depacketizing the system, and then playing, which was originally invented for emails and sending pictures and different kind of data, well, now is used for audio video. Well, we use HDBaseT because it was built for audio video, and it doesn't use the packetized network. It uses the same exact infrastructure of a category cable, but now we're able to send these signals that were built for audio video, not packetized, in a constant flow. And we're able to, with the chips that we use with this particular extender, we're able to send 4K signals 40 meters, and we're able to send 1080p signals 70 meters. So you can go a long way. Any way that you need to go in a home is usually going to cover that. And if you need to go longer, I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but you guys all know we have so many different options for you to go long distances and higher bandwidths. But what we're doing with this product is giving you that one that you always use, the EX70, and adding a few features, and without breaking the bank. It's a very, very small increase from the traditional EX70. This is going to just kind of show you how we really try to max out the controls. We have a control processor, a remote control, we have a source connected, and we can show how it can be routed throughout this category cable. All the signals that you put into the transmitter, you can get out of the receiver, passing on the different channels that are in that you know, category 6 cable. All right, we have a question that the extender is usually placed between the AVR and the TV. The source is plugged into the AVR. Does it work over the HDMI, or do you have to use the de-embedded audio output? No, it works over the HDMI for sure. And you know, that's, so let's go back. This is a great question, Dan. And this is all just integrator preference. And sometimes people don't want to run their 4K signaling through the AVR. Most of the time they do now, especially if the AVRs have improved so much that they can handle it better. But what Dave is, or excuse me, what Daniel is saying here is that you normally would have your source go plugged into your AVR, right? And you would have your transmitter going in between your AVR and your living room. That's going to be exactly the same. You would just, instead of this HDMI cable going into your source, that would now go into your AVR. This de-embedded audio cable is completely unnecessary, and you would just be sending that ARC signal through this HDMI. This is just kind of an added bonus that we wanted to show that you could how you would be able to do extract it if you wanted to when you were trying to keep this AVR separated. The only times that we really are seeing that, Daniel, is when they have a specific zone that the AVR is for, and the AVR isn't for the whole home, it's just for that specific zone, but they have these sources. Maybe there's actually a matrix switcher here, you know, and it's switching all those sources, but we just try to simplify it. But yes, it could work either way, and that's a great point, that you could just have this source hooked up to the AVR, the AVR hooked up to the transmitter, and you do not need this audio connection right here. Great question. Keep the questions coming, guys, because as you know, we're learning a lot from these questions. Does this work with a Sonos amp? So I don't specifically know what's on a Sonos amp, but I mean, can we just look it up? So let's go Sonos amp. And if I can just get an image of it, we can see what the inputs are on this amp. So it looks like it has 2-channel in. So you would need a converter, it looks like, Andrew. But yeah, it'll work. I mean, you just have to convert it to go into one of the ports that it is, because you're gonna, out of the extender, Andrew, you're going to have that de-embedded audio things. That it's going to be on a 3.5 millimeter jack. If we look at our extender again here, and let's just pop back a couple slides and look here. So you know, you have your audio is going to be right here. So just as long as you have that 3.5 jack and you have the little converter that'll switch it to 2-channel, then yeah, Andrew, you can get that. Oh, and then he says the Sonos amp has an HDMI input. So yeah, Andrew, you can go directly into it then. Yeah, you can 100%. This was built to work with that then. No doubt about it. And I know a lot of you guys are installing Sonos. I mean, when is there going to be a good solution where we can all make good margins on those, huh? But I guess people just keep on asking for Sonos is the deal, right? Well, who knows? All right. Sorry for the silence here, guys. Just getting caught up. I mean, these are all on our website too, guys, but we're just kind of showing you there's different ways that people like to route IR. And what we kind of just did with this one is we made sure that they're all available to you. So you can route it, you know, from a remote by the receiver back to the transmitter. You can do a remote by the transmitter to the receiver. You can use a control processor on either end. Doesn't matter. We made sure that this extender is going to be able to extend your controls no matter how you do them. Does this support down mixing for analog out? No, Andrew, you definitely, it does not. It's not an audio down mixer. I mean, it's, if you send a Dolby Atmos signal, it will continue to pass along that Dolby Atmos signal, but it's not going to convert the Atmos signal down to a 2-channel signal. That would be something that you'd have to, you know, convert beforehand. We have a bunch of good products for down mixing. We actually have the only down mixer on the market that's able to do beyond 8-channel down mixing. Now you can get it inside AVRs and different amps, but as a standalone box, we can actually down mix 24, 32 channels of Dolby Atmos down to 2 channels, and we have this other box which is an AVDM. Now, if we could add that into this extender, Andrew, but then you are really like, you're doubling the price just because now you have to pay Dolby for the licensing and you have to pay for all the chips. So it's just not a viable product for us to put down mixing into our extenders. We do have them in our matrix switchers. We have a whole line of matrix switchers that down mixes. Because we have such a good relationship with Dolby, we have the keys to make their audio really sing over 2 channels well and down mix it properly. So we have that capability, but no, it is not built into the extender. So definitely, if you were going to send a a Dolby matte signal or a DTS HD signal via the ARC path, it will pass it no problem. For powering, can this be powered wall power adapter or PoE? Not sure about the PoE in this case, and it definitely can. You only power one side, but it is 48 volt, Todd. So you actually are not going to be able to power it out of like the USB port on the TV. Like you could with maybe our scaler, if you're used to that one. You would have to have it just plugged in. One side has to be plugged into power. It will transfer that power over the category cable, and it will power the other side. It does do bidirectionally, Todd. So if you would rather plug in the receiver, then you can do that. If you'd rather plug in the transfer, you can do that. It's just wherever you got the open power port, right? All right, so we're going to talk about EDID management. EDID management is important. 80% of the calls that we come into our tech support that have to do with trouble with video distribution are EDID problems. And it's very, very easy for it to be confused. So let's talk about what an EDID is really quick, right? You have a TV right here, you have a source right here. We'll call this a DirecTV box. The TV sends us, as soon as you plug in that HDMI right at hot plug detect, immediately with no latency, there's an EDID signal. It's a signal sent out of the TV into the source, and it says, hey, source, these are the resolutions, timings, and signals I can handle. The source then sends just those signals. So where it gets messed up with video distribution is, do we normally go from source to sync? No. We always have things in between: AVRs, extenders, distribution amplifiers, matrix switchers. The list goes on and on. So what happens now when that TV sends it into an extender or sends it into a matrix sensor, sends it into a AVR? Well, a lot of times it's lost, and that EDID does not get passed on properly. So then maybe no EDID gets sent. Maybe an EDID out of the AVR gets sent, and that AVR is more powerful. So maybe that AVR is asking for 4K 60, 444. We got HDR metadata. We have 8 channels of audio, and it sends it through that AVR, gets to that TV. The TV doesn't know how to interpret that signal. We get flashing signal in and out. We get no video. We get a terrible picture. These are all different things that can be managed with EDID. Now, a lot of our products have EDID management. I would say that AVPro Edge is EDID experts, but we've never had it on this low-cost extender. So with now a low-cost 70-meter extender, you have all of these EDID options where you can just select changing these dip switches. Look, my system's I'm going to do a 1080p 2-channel system. I don't need 4K. I got legacy projectors. I got old sources. I don't care. It just needs to work. You set everything to a 1080p 2-channel. Well, as you work your way up, you may find exactly the perfect EDID that's going to give you the color space you need and the timing and resolution you need and the audio signal you need. And by using some of these, and these are the EDIDs that we find are the most popular. So that's why we include them. But you can still just bypass EDID. That means whatever EDID comes in, it will send out that way. And you can also store and copy EDIDs. So a lot of integrators, especially if they have tools like the Fox and Hound, they have a favorite EDID. They have the EDID that works for all of their systems that they like to use. Well, you can now plug it into this unit, and you're able to, take that EDID, and now you can store that EDID inside the switch, and that it will be the EDID that you use. Really giving the power to the integrator on what kind of signaling they want the sources to send out. So guys, that's kind of like everything about this unit. If you have more questions, let me know. We're just gonna go over the resources in the last little bit here. Online, our website is up. I showed it really quickly, but we can go back again. Let's look at the online here for a second. Give me a second. So if we go to avproedge.com, and then I type in the part number ACEX70-ARC-kit. No, I should actually type in AVPro Edge, huh? avproedge.com/AC. There we go. So this is going to be our website, guys, and this is all ready here for you. If you want a quote, that just opens an email, sends it right to our team who can help you, with pricing or anything like that. It's available through all of our distributors today. So go to your distributor, say you want this. They should be able to get it for you right away. Hopefully they're already stocked. I know a lot of our distributors have already been stocking up. And the reason that you're finding out it now is also because AVPro has a different launch method than most other manufacturers. We create it, we test it, we make sure that it's tried and true, and then we release it once it's in our warehouse and you can ship. We're not the kind of manufacturer that will, output a product, say it's coming, delay it. Maybe it never comes out. Maybe it wins awards without ever even seeing the light of day. That's not going to be from AVPro Edge. And so that's why you're learning about this right now, and it's available for you right now. It's just part of our philosophy and policy. But as you can see, you have all these, all the diagrams that you wanted. You can go through all of those that we looked in this PowerPoint. You can get all the specifications, the resources, you got the gallery, what it's compatible with. All of this is available here at avproedge.com. So definitely make sure you're utilizing those resources. These are going to come in when there's the problems where you're going to want to use these is when you love our EX70s, but you need those extra features. You need ARC, you need EDID management. Boom. Now you have this low cost feature. You want to route the audio the way you want to route it. You don't want to try to come up with these next level solutions and these workarounds processes for something that isn't something that you need to do. What you want to do is route it the way you want to route it, over that ARC signal, one cable going in, sending HDMI one way, sending that high quality audio at the very same time the opposite way. No picture, your source bringing havoc on new zones, old source, old projector flashing in and out. Well, EDID answers those. And now you have EDID management that allows you to get done with install quicker, manage your problems quicker, manage truck rolls quicker, or eliminate truck rolls, allowing you to get onto other sites and, earn that income instead of work on systems that you, should already be stable and functioning. And then these are anybody who's currently buying EX70s or has stopped buying EX70s because they were looking for these features. Well, now this is who these are built for. These are built for our integrators who want EX70s, but they want those little features. And that's why we didn't break the bank to do this. The next price up point for you to get audio return channel and these different features is to go to our 444 line, which are more expensive. So this still allows you to do that 4K signal without having to break the bank. And then of course, guys, this is very important to AVPro. We have a 10-year no BS warranty. It's as simple as that. If the product doesn't work, we will make sure you're right. We will replace the product. We will work with you to make sure the product works. We will help you get firmware on the product. Whatever it is, we will work through. And that's the same with these extenders. And that is why you can install AVPro with confidence, knowing that when you put in a solution, it's a solution that's tried and true. The reason we can do a 10-year warranty is because we own our own manufacturing. We're not having someone else control the manufacturing process and slapping our logo on things. We control that from picking resistors, picking capacitors, picking the chips that go into it, actual board manufacturing, actual chassis manufacturing. It's all part of our process that we optimize at every single point in the development, the research, and the launch process, so that we're able to send a 10-year warranty. And that's something that you guys can go and install with confidence, knowing that that's available. In the box, you're just going to get your power supply. It's going to power both ends. You got your IRI emitter, some, control 3-pin Phoenix connectors. You got some rack, or not some rack mounts, but some ear mounts if you want to mount it on a wall or on a plate or something. And then I want to let everybody know, Jeremy Brown says, you listen to the integrators not listed. Last line on the copy has typo. I appreciate that, Jeremy, because this will go online. So you guys will actually be able to review this presentation. So I want to have it right. So I appreciate that, Jeremy. I will get that updated before we get this back onto our website, so you guys can always check out the presentation. If you needed to show it to someone else, if you wanted to look at one of the features, that's always available. If you don't want to go through our website, you always have this presentation. I will get that updated, Jeremy. I do want to let you guys know that the EX70s are still available. I mean, these are our best-selling product. We're not getting rid of them. You can keep ordering these for when you don't need ARC, you don't need EDID management. These are rock solid. I mean, this is what we install the most of. This is what we sell the most of. This is our #1 product. So we're just kind of making this a more feature-rich cousin, and it's going to, as you can see, it has a new SKU here, which is AX70E UHD-ARC, where this one is dash kit. So definitely make sure that you order this one when you need it, but this one is still going to be available. We just want our integrators to know that. If you need more information, give us a call, go to the website. You can email me directly, tom@avproglobal.com, info@avproedge.com. I can get those as well. We have people standing by who are ready to talk to you, who want to give you more information on this product. So call us anytime. I appreciate you guys joining me on this webinar today. If you guys have any other questions, or you want anybody else to see this, this will be recorded. We'll put it on our YouTube channel. So if you just go to YouTube and type in avproedge.com, but just AVPro Edge, you'll be able to get to our channel, and you'll be able to see this product training as well. So once again, I thank you for joining us today. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Finish out the Friday strong. I know I'm going to, and I thank you for joining me. Have a good day.